Didn't find this message by accident. Something deeper is calling your attention right now. In the middle of your confusion, your waiting, your silent prayers, this is your confirmation. There is a shift happening in your life, and you can feel it. The delays, the struggles, the moments where you felt unseen, they were not meaningless. You are being guided, even when it doesn't feel like it. Right now, you are standing at a turning point. What you choose next matters. So be still, listen closely, and receive this message meant specifically for you. Chosen one, there comes a moment in every journey where holding on becomes more harmful than letting go. You may not want to admit it, but there are things in your life right now, people, habits, thoughts, even environments that are quietly draining your energy. They don't always appear destructive on the surface. Sometimes they feel familiar, comfortable, even necessary. But deep down, you can feel the weight of them. You can sense how they slow you down, how they cloud your clarity, how they pull you away from who you are meant to become. Letting go is not easy. It requires honesty. It requires you to acknowledge that not everything you've invested in is meant to continue with you. And that realization can be painful. You start to question your decisions, your attachments, your memories. Wonder if releasing something means you've failed or given up. But the truth is, letting go is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of growth. It shows that you are choosing alignment over attachment. There are connections in your life that no longer serve your highest good. Some people were only meant to be part of a chapter, not the entire story. They taught you lessons. They helped shape your perspective, but their role has been fulfilled. Holding on to them out of habit, guilt, or fear of loneliness only keeps you stuck in a version of your life that you have already outgrown. The same applies to patterns and behaviors. There are habits you've developed as a way to cope, to protect yourself, or to feel a sense of control. But now, those same habits may be limiting you. They may be keeping you in cycles that no longer reflect who you are becoming. Growth demands change, and change often requires release. You must also pay attention to your inner dialogue. The thoughts you repeatedly entertain have a powerful impact on your direction. Doubt, fear, and negativity can become heavy burdens if you allow them to stay unchecked. Letting go is not just about external things, it is also about releasing the internal weight you carry. It is about choosing to think differently, to speak to yourself with clarity instead of criticism, with belief instead of hesitation. Understand this clearly: you cannot carry everything with you into your next season. Every level of growth requires a level of release. Imagine trying to move forward while holding on to things that are pulling you backward. It creates tension, exhaustion, and confusion. But when you begin to let go, you create space. Space for new opportunities, new connections, new energy, and new clarity. Letting go does not mean you erase the past. It means you stop allowing it to control your present. You can appreciate what something or someone once meant to you without keeping it in your life. You can honor the lessons without staying attached to the experience. There may be moments where you feel uncertain after releasing what was once familiar. That emptiness can feel uncomfortable at first, but do not rush to fill it with the same things you just let go of. Sit with it. Allow it to reshape you. Because in that space, something new will begin to form, something that aligns more deeply with your purpose and your peace. You are not losing anything that is truly meant for you. What belongs in your life will not drain you, confuse you, or weaken you. It will support your growth, not hinder it. So be honest with yourself. Recognize what is no longer aligned, and have the courage to release it. Because the moment you let go of what drains you is the moment you begin to step fully into your strength. Chosen one, you have come farther than you realize. You have endured challenges, learned difficult lessons, and grown in ways that once felt impossible. Yet now, as you stand on the edge of something greater, there is one thing still holding you back: fear. Not the kind that shouts loudly, but the quiet, persistent voice that makes you hesitate, that fills your mind with what-ifs, that convinces you to wait just a little longer. Fear is often misunderstood. It does not always appear as panic or anxiety. Sometimes it disguises itself as logic. It tells you to be careful, to avoid risk, to stay where things feel safe and familiar. And while caution has its place, fear can also become a barrier when it stops you from moving forward entirely. It creates scenarios in your mind that have not even happened, and yet you begin to believe them as if they are certain. You might be afraid of failing, of making the wrong decision, of being judged, or even of succeeding and not knowing how to handle it. These fears are real in feeling, but they are not facts. They are possibilities, not guarantees. And when you allow them to control your actions, you give power to something that has not even taken shape in reality. So, think about how many opportunities you have delayed or avoided because of hesitation. Moments where you felt ready deep down, but you held back because you weren't completely sure. You waited for perfect conditions, for absolute clarity, for reassurance that everything would work out. But the truth is, those conditions rarely exist. Growth always involves uncertainty. Progress always requires a step into the unknown. Fear thrives in hesitation. The longer you wait, the stronger it becomes. It feeds on overthinking, on doubt, on imagined outcomes. But the moment you take action, no matter how small, you begin to weaken its hold. You shift from being controlled by fear to confronting it directly. You must understand that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. It is choosing to act even when your voice shakes, even when your mind is filled with questions. Because on the other side of that action is clarity, confidence, and growth. There is also something deeper you need to recognize. Fear often appears strongest right before a breakthrough. When you are close to stepping into a new level of your life, resistance increases. Doubt becomes louder. Uncertainty feels heavier. This is not a sign to stop, it is a sign that you are approaching something significant. If you turn back at this point, you remain in the same place. But if you push through, you discover what you are truly capable of. You do not need to have everything figured out before you begin. You do not need guarantees or perfect timing. What you need is willingness, the willingness to trust yourself enough to take the next step. Each step you take builds momentum. Each action you take replaces fear with experience. Also remember this, the fear of regret is often greater than the fear of failure. One day, you will look back at this moment, and you will either see it as the point where you allowed fear to stop you, or the moment where you chose to rise above it. That choice is yours. So stop waiting for fear to disappear. It may not. Instead, move forward with it. Let it be present, but do not let it lead. You are stronger than it, more capable than it, and more prepared than you think, because the only thing standing between you and your next level is not lack of ability, it is the decision to step past fear and finally claim what has been waiting for you. Chosen one, there comes a point where waiting, learning, and preparing must transform into action. You have spent time reflecting, growing, and understanding your path. You have asked for clarity, for direction, for a sign. And now here it is, this moment right in front of you. Not tomorrow, not someday, not when everything feels perfect. Right now. This is the space where your future begins to take shape, and what you do here matters more than you realize. Too often, you have delayed your own progress by believing you needed more time, more knowledge, or more confidence. You told yourself that you would act once you felt fully ready. But the truth is, readiness is not something you wait for, it is something you create through action. You become ready by stepping forward, by trying, by learning as you go. If you keep waiting for certainty, you may remain in the same place indefinitely. There is an energy within you that has been building. You can feel it in your thoughts, in your restlessness, in the way you keep returning to the same ideas and desires. That is not chance, it is a signal. It is telling you that you are meant to move, to create, to change something in your life. Ignoring that signal only leads to frustration, because deep down you know you are capable of more. Action does not always mean making a huge, life-altering decision all at once. Sometimes it begins with a single step, a conversation you have been avoiding, a plan you finally start, a risk you decide to take despite uncertainty. These small steps carry power because they break the cycle of hesitation. They shift you from thinking into doing, from imagining into experiencing. You must also understand that action brings clarity. Many of your doubts exist because you are trying to figure everything out in your mind without actually engaging with reality. But once you start moving, things begin to make sense. You learn what works and what doesn't. You adjust, you improve, you grow. Without action, you remain stuck in endless possibilities. With action, you begin to create real outcomes. There will never be a perfect moment. There will always be reasons to wait, excuses to delay, fears to consider. But if you allow those things to control your timing, you give away your power. This moment, imperfect as it may seem, is enough. You are enough. You have what you need to begin. It is also important to realize that your actions do not just affect your present, they shape your identity. Every time you choose to act, you reinforce a version of yourself that is decisive, courageous, and capable. You begin to trust yourself more. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hesitates and start seeing yourself as someone who moves forward despite uncertainty. You have already spent enough time preparing. You have already thought through many of the possibilities. Now is the time to apply what you have learned. Even if the path is not fully clear, take the next visible step. Then take another. Momentum will build, and with it, your confidence. Do not underestimate the impact of this moment. What feels like a small decision today could become the turning point you look back on later, the moment where everything started to change. But that only happens if you choose to act. So stop waiting for another sign. Stop doubting your ability. Stop delaying what you already know you need to do. This is your moment. Step into it with intention, with belief, and with the understanding that your future is not something that happens to you. It is something you create through the actions you take right now.